Hello there, Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow coming to you live from the sanctuary of the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. We're located in the North San Fernando Valley. We're a faith community who welcomes all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And I'm joined tonight by Renzon Sanchez, who's going to light our candles for us this evening. And as we come together, as we do for every service here at the center, by lighting the flames of faith. So if you would, please take a deep, conscious breath with me and feel that release. And you know, it's been a long day, so let's take another breath and release. And maybe even one more. Deep breath. Hold this one at the top. And now just sigh it out. Releasing the day, allowing ourselves to surrender and anchor into this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Renzon lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the four noble truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course, within our own hearts. And as Renzon lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. So remembering places of suffering anywhere in the world, Gaza, Ukraine, Israel, Yemen, perhaps within your own heart.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
So again, taking another deep breath, and again using the breath to anchor us into this moment, recognizing and knowing that there is only one thing at work here, God, and nothing else. And so as we consider the many names of that God is known by, we know that ultimately it is the one power, the one presence, the creative impulse of life, a living intelligence, the wellspring of love itself, that is expressing and impressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as our life. And so knowing that I am one with the Spirit, that we are all one with the Spirit, and by extension, we are all one with each other. And so from this place of common unity, bound by the energetic of love, that we move into this meditation time this evening, open at the top, to have an experience that is uniquely our own, an experience of peace, of harmony, of connection, of insight, of intuition, or to simply experience the space between thought, the eye behind the eye. So having set the intention, I leave space now for you to speak your own intention into this moment, either aloud or within your own heart. And so, for this word that I speak, for all the cares, concerns, intentions, aspirations of the evening, we're just releasing it all now. And releasing this time together, knowing that it is a time of divine unfoldment that is perfect in its own way, because it is what it is. So we just take one more breath, and in gratitude, feel the release as we just let it all go to that which makes all things so. We release, let it go, and so it is. Amen. So I'm on the schedule tonight to be the presider as Reverend Nancy Woods. Reverend Nancy is our assistant minister here, for those of you who may not know that. And she's at home in North Carolina, tending to family, her sister specifically. And well, her presence is missed. Spiritual community is, it's an interesting aspect of human connection. And I'm so grateful for Reverend Nancy and those who came before her as well, who created this physical space for us to be able to meet and to consider what is the nature of the divine? How does it work in my life? Can I work with it? Can I utilize it in my daily life? How can spiritual practice allow me to experience more love, more connection, more creativity in my life. These are things I never thought of until I came to this place. I had a sense of them, but I didn't have language for it. And so I guess I hold a desire for others to feel something similar, whether it's, not specifically for this community, although that's great, and I love the people who share this vision, this acknowledgement of blessing and the gratitude that goes with it, but even for those who I just think everyone should have a place like this to go to, regardless of the tradition. I think Gandhi was onto something when he said that if people would just practice the religions that they say they profess, the world would be a much happier place. I think that's true. And yet here we are with the human condition, with its trials and tribulations, its challenges. And as the ancients once wrote in the Hebrew Bible, to everything there is a season. And so while I was at a wedding on Monday night, joyfully having an experience of an interfaith wedding with one friend, another friend was making his transition. And so it's important for me to have a place like this where I can come, and for those whom I have spent the last 14 years building spiritual community together, that they know they can come and maybe get loved up a little bit in their own hour of need. So I've been jumping around in this book, Eager to Love by Richard Rohr. And he talks about the infinite in the finite in his chapter entitled, What Do We Mean by Mysticism? And of course, Richard Rohr is a Franciscan monk, so St. Francis of Assisi is his inspiration, among other things. And he writes that Francis knew that if we can accept that the finite manifests the infinite, and that the physical is the doorway to the spiritual, which is the foundational principle we call incarnation, then all we need is right here and right now in this world. This world, the finite, is the way to the infinite. Heaven includes earth. Time opens us up to the timeless. Space opens us up to spacelessness. If we only take the time to clear the doorways that we are. There are not sacred and profane things, places, and moments. There are only sacred and desecrated things, places, and moments. And it is we alone who desecrate them by our blindness or lack of reverence. It is one sacred universe, and we are all part of it. We really cannot get any better or more simple than that in terms of spiritual vision. The realization that the concrete opens us up to the universal might be the only fully trustworthy or possible path anyway, because that is how sensate humans, that's how we normally operate. Abstract ideology will not get us very far. And much common religion is ideology more than any real encounter with presence. But we must all start with our anecdotal experience and then build from there. What else can we do? Good spiritual teachers tell us how to build from there. Wise people, scripture and tradition tell us what our experience is worth looking at and what is perhaps a detour or a dead end. When religion becomes mere ideology or even mere theology, it starts with universal theories and the rubber never hits the road again. As the Pope says, people all over the world are rejecting this ideological top-down form of religion, and they should, because this is not the path of Christ himself. So, of course, Richard Rohr is a Catholic priest, so he's speaking from a Christian perspective. But it is what we are attempting to do here in this spiritual community as well, because we, or at least my approach to spirituality, is to encourage us to explore our own idea of what the divine is, our own idea of how that manifests in our life, our own success or frustration in utilizing the law of life to demonstrate not only the things that we need, but also to demonstrate an overflow of life that has a connection and love, creativity, and even prosperity in all of its forms. And so one of the practices that we do to help build awareness of that is meditation. Right? For we understand that it is our thought that's creating our reality. And if we can cultivate thought to think in conscious ways, in ways of acting and cultivating ways of acting consciously, then we can build a life of design rather than default. And ultimately, we build a life that's not only worth living, that has a little bit of luxury, has creativity, spontaneity, and all the good things in life, but we also leave in our wake a legacy of compassion, of goodwill, and good works. So let's just take this time tonight to meditate on what it means to us to cultivate an open heart, to cultivate a mental atmosphere that is intuitively finding ways to healing, to wholeness, to communion. So let's take a deep breath. And releasing, I'm going to ask Renzin if he can turn the heat off for us, please. And we're just following the breath, paying attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. Following the breath. Scanning the body, starting from the feet into the legs, releasing tension. Up the leg into the knee, knee into the thigh, thigh into the sit bones, while staying with the breath. And if we find a place of tension, we can just take a deep breath. And on the exhale, you'll feel a release in that tense area. Even it might take another breath or two. And we just return back to the breath. The spine balanced above the sit bones. The head balanced on the spine. Chin slightly down. Shoulders back and down. With a soft heart. Focusing now on the exhale. Deep breath. Feeling the release. Focusing our attention on the upper lip, on the exhale. As we move into the silence now for about 15 minutes. Bringing our attention gently back into the room, staying with the breath. Knowing with me that within our heart center, the flame of the divine dwells. So now breathing into this heart center, with each in-breath fanning that flame. Where this flame continues to grow in radiance, in its illumination, expanding from a flame into a ball of the light of the divine, a fire that illuminates rather than consumes, expanding with each in-breath. Expanding like inflating a balloon with the ebb and flow of the breath. Extending now, expanding beyond the torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, expanding in this field of light, this field of light and love, knowing that the Spirit is everywhere present. We are breathing in this light and love, and it's commingling within the body temple, releasing that which is no longer needed, embracing the energetic of light and love that is fortifying the body temple as we stay with the breath. This light and love now extending beyond our reach. We are extending this field of light and love, this field of infinite possibilities for good, filling the very room in which we sit. Extending beyond now, joining our friends online, knowing that the Spirit is not bound by time nor space, even joining in communion with those who come later, for the Spirit is not bound by time nor space. So taking a deep breath, and breathing into this field of light and love, we are allowing the energy of the law of life to align with that pattern of perfection, the indwelling Spirit itself, at the deepest aspects of expression, so that every atom, every molecule, every cell, every muscle, every organ, every bone, every sinew, every nerve, all of the neurons, all the various components of the biological body, attuning with the indwelling pattern of perfection, resonating and vibrating as radiant good health. Knowing that the body is intuitively guided into ways of its perfect expression and expelling anything unlike the perfection of perfect radiant good health. So we feel a little sense of strength, of vitality, of flexibility, even in the moment. Feel a sense of gratitude around this expression as we take a deep breath and release. For our mind as well, that we are open and receptive to a divine download of new thinking that sustains us in ways that express the highest and best for our life, the highest and best in the structure of our life and in the realization of life, that we understand that we are even now open and receptive to a divine download or a divine upload of new and creative ideas to any situation or circumstance that up until now may have had us either stymied or in a fog or even confusion, that we now know that its expression is a sense of clarity, a sense of knowing that all is well. That we know that even now we are embracing new and creative and dynamic ideas that are easily accessed either in the moment or to be accessed through the dream state this evening or revealed gently tomorrow or as needed. We are deeply grateful for this creative impulse of life that is impressing this sense of guidance and creative thought. Taking a deep breath, releasing that. So now, for our relationships, that we are feeling a sense of our heart being opened by means of this meditation here this evening, and in this open-heartedness, that we welcome into this field of light and love that we have created here in a conscious way with anyone within our mental atmosphere, for those in our offices, on the job, anyone that we may have been in conflict in any way, those with whom we know intimately or in the outer world, that we know that our heart is big enough to hold all of it, and that that in this field of love that there is a sense of understanding, of compassion, and of a seeking first to understand rather than to be understood, a place of a healed field of love and life that has the ability to accept people for who they are, free of our own fears or judgments, perhaps, that we're just releasing all of that and knowing that in this field of love, that peace, harmony, understanding creates not only a sense of connection and communion with the other, but also radiates from us, that now we become centers that are in this overflow of love, that we are centers of peace, serenity, of harmony, of peaceful abiding, that we are the peacemaker. So taking a deep breath, releasing that now as we move into our final release, bringing our own cares and concerns, aspirations to the evening, and just releasing them with a deep breath, releasing them into this field of light and love that we have consciously generated here this evening, that we know that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence. It is the wellspring of life itself. It is the creative impulse of life. And so we are casting our thoughts, our cares, concerns upon this field of mind knowing that it is that aspect of the mind of the divine that knows only to say yes as the love of its own being. So we feel and we hear the eternal yes, knowing with confidence and deep gratitude that all is well, that all is so. And so we know further for those of us here in the sanctuary this evening that we arrive home safely and in good order, and that we all, as we make our way through the rest of this evening, finding our way to our beds, that our head hits the pillow, we drift off easily to sleep, that we dream deep, we sleep deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling fully rested, restored, revived, with a sense of vim and vigor and a zest for life and an excitement for the day. So taking a deep breath and that one final release in gratitude. We release it, we let it go, we let it be so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, so it is. Amen. I almost made it with the cushion tonight. So anyway, thank you for joining us online. If this is your first time joining us, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button, even the notification bell, because if you do that, then you'll get a little reminder of when we are on at 10:30 this Sunday, where we have Teresa James is joining us this week, and George Amati Hines is going to be joining us from the Center for Spiritual Living, the Triangular Center for Spiritual Living, which is, I believe, the oldest African-American religious science community in Los Angeles. So I'm looking forward. I've heard this fellow before. He's a great speaker, and I know you'll find something inspiring. And I will be here with him, and hopefully with you as well. So until then, know that you are loved. Peace and blessings. And we'll see you next time.